Section 4 History of Novel. In the previous video, we saw origin of novel, meaning of novel, rise and development of novel, and the famous novelists and their work. In today's video, we shall see elements of novel and types of novel. So, let us start. First, we shall see elements of novel. There are 6 elements of novel: theme, plot, character, setting, conflict, language and style. First, we shall see theme. What is the meaning of theme? Theme means the central idea of the novel. It can be expressed in a nutshell, means in short. For example, in novel 4.1, To Serve with Love, the theme is student-teacher relationship, prejudice and racism. In the novel 4.4, The Sign of Foe, the theme of the novel revolves around the Agra treasure. The theme comes first in the mind of the writer and then he writes the novel. The theme is not given directly in the story, we have to find it from the story. Then another element is plot. Plot is very important element of the novel. Plot means the story. Plot means the course of events that makes up the theme. Plot is created by the conflict. This conflict may be internal or external. Internal means inside the mind of the character, and external means with other characters or entities. Plot may be simple or complex. Simple means one plot. One plot means one story or one event. Complex means consisting the interweaving of many subplots. For example, in the novel The Sign of Foe, the novel has a complex plot involving service in India, the Indian Rebellion of 1857, a stolen treasure, and a secret pact among 4 convicts and 2 corrupt prison guards. How is the course of events in novel? In the beginning, characters and setting are introduced. In the middle part, main events and conflicts are there. And in the ending, there is climax. Then another element is character. Characterization is related to the plot. The course of events takes place because of the certain behavior of the characters. There are major characters and minor characters. The characters are sketched in detail in words. How are they sketched? Their behavior, appearance, and all aspects are depicted in detail. The minor characters are not given much importance. The main character is called the protagonist. The protagonist is in conflict with the antagonist, means character or an entity or a force. This force may be internal or external. Protagonist may be a man or woman character. Then another element is setting. Setting is the background in which the story takes place. There are several aspects of the setting. What does setting include? Setting includes place, period, time, climate or weather, and lifestyle. What is meant by place? Place means the geographical location where the events happen or take place. Period means when the event takes place. Period means it may be mythological, historical, colonial, or related to future. Time of the day means morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Time means also a particular month, year, or season. Climate means season. In some novels, particularly rainy season or winter season is given. Sometimes storm is shown. The events are woven around the particular season. Then lifestyle. Lifestyle means manners, dressing, customs, and way of speaking of the characters. Then conflict. The struggle between the opposite forces in the story is called conflict. Opposite forces means man versus man, man versus nature, man versus supernatural powers, man versus evil powers, etc. Conflict in the story provides interest and curiosity about the plot. Then language and style. What is style? Style means the language and the techniques used by the author for the narration of the course of events. An author can use extensive vocabulary and high phrases for his novel. He may be laconic and would write only to the point. Laconic means using only a few words to say anything. Sometimes he may mix both, means use high phrases or be laconic according to the requirement. He may use linguistic devices to make the narrative effective. Linguistic means related to language. All these factors decide the texture of narration. Which factors? Vocabulary, phrases, and language devices. These factors create an impact on the readers. Do you know the difference between language and style? Language means the words used in a story, the arrangement of words and sentences. Style means the way in which the author tells the story, means which symbols or literary devices the author uses to depict the events. We have seen elements of novel. Now we shall turn to the types of novel. Which are the types of novel? Realistic novel, picaresque novel, historical novel, epistolary novel, Gothic novel, autobiographical novel, allegorical novel, Utopian or Dystopian novel, psychological novel, stream of consciousness novel, and Bildungsroman novel. Now, let us discuss all these types one by one. First is realistic novel. Realistic novel is a fiction that gives the effect of realism. You know fiction? Fiction means events or people that are not real. Realism means representing a person in a way that is accurate and true to life. Sometimes this is also called a novel of manner. Why is it called a novel of manner? Because it is characterized by its complex characters with mixed motives that are rooted in the social class. This type of novel recreates means entertains people because the customs, values, social behavior in public and private is depicted here. The characters in the realistic novel interact with each other and undergo plausible and everyday experiences. Then picaresque novel. This style of novel originated in Spain in 1554. The word picaresque is originated from the Spanish word picaro. What is the meaning of picaro? The meaning of picaro is a rogue. Rogue means a dishonest or unprincipled man. A picaresque novel narrates the adventures of the protagonist. Protagonist means main character. A picaresque novel narrates the adventures of the protagonist who is an eccentric or a disreputable person. Eccentric means a person of slightly strange views or behavior. He is appealing hero. Here, a hero is from low social class. The narration in picaresque novel is in an episodic form. Examples of picaresque novel are Daniel Defoe's Moll Flanders, Henry Fielding's History of Tom Jones, a foundling. Then, historical novel. Historical novel conveys the spirit, manners and social conditions of a past age. It has its setting as a period of history. There are realistic details of historical fact. For example, Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. Then epistolary novel. The word epistolary derives from the Latin word epistola. Epistola means a letter. Epistolary novel is a novel written as a series of documents. Which documents? Letters are most common. Diary entries are also popular form. Examples of epistolary novel: Samuel Richardson's Pamela or Virtue Rewarded and Clarissa. Then Gothic novel. Gothic novel means the novels that include terror, mystery, horror, thriller, supernatural, doom, death or decay and haunted buildings are called Gothic novel. The first Gothic novel is The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. Other Gothic novel is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Then we shall turn to autobiographical novel. Autobiographical means the novel based on the life of the author. However, the changes in the places and names of characters are done sometimes. He may change some details of his life. Sometimes he avoids some details of his life. It may or may not be in the first person narration. For example, To Serve with Love by E.R. Braithwaite is an autobiographical novel. This novel is based on the life of the author E.R. Braithwaite. Other examples of autobiographical novels: David Copperfield by Charles Dickens and Villette by Charlotte Bronte. Then allegorical novels. An allegory is a story that bears more than one level of meaning. The surface meaning is different from the symbolic meaning of novel. Which symbolic meaning is there? The symbolic meaning of an allegory may be political, religious, historical, or philosophical. Then we shall turn to Utopian or Dystopian novel. What is Utopian novel? The term Utopia is about an ideal society on a fictional island. Utopia is an imaginary community or society having the ideal qualities. Utopia is a common literary theme, especially in science fiction or speculative fiction. Speculative fiction means where the setting is other than the real world, where supernatural or other imagined elements are involved. Dystopia is an antonym, means opposite word of a utopia. Dystopia is an imagined community or society that is dehumanizing and frightening. Then let us turn to psychological novel. In psychological novel, the internal life of the protagonist or the other characters means external factors is given. Protagonist means main character or person in novel. The examples of psychological novels are Pamela by Samuel Richardson. This novel is told from the heroine's point of view. Then To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. Ulysses by James Joyce. Now we shall see Stream of Consciousness novel. Stream of consciousness is a phrase coined by William James in his treatise Principles of Psychology in 1890. Stream of consciousness means the flow of the thoughts. Incidents in the plot are in the sequence of their occurrences. The novelist narrates them as they enter in the mind of the character. Then Bildungsroman novel. Bildungsroman is a German word. It indicates growth. The fictional biography or autobiography is concerned with the growth of the protagonist's mind, spirit, and characters from their childhood to adulthood. Here we have seen 11 types of novels. We have seen that the novel originated in 18th century. In the first of the 20th century, a cult of pulp magazines became popular. In pulp magazine, fantastic fiction for the entertainment of people was printed on the cheap pulp paper. Detective novels and science fiction flourished in this period. What is science fiction? A science fiction is a genre of speculative fiction. Means the characters are not real. There are imaginative concepts. Setting is imaginary. Which imaginary concepts are there? Futuristic setting, futuristic science and technology, space travel, time travel, parallel universes, and extraterrestrial life. Science fiction often explores the potential consequences of scientific and other innovations. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which was published in 1823, is considered as the first novel based on science and technology. Novel originated in 18th century and flourished in the second half of the 19th century. Detective fiction is a subgenre of crime fiction and mystery fiction. What is in detective fiction? Here, an investigator or a detective investigates a crime. Which crime? Often a murder. This investigator or detective is professional or amateur. Amateur means a person who engages in a pursuit. Thus, we have seen the history of novel. Here is the end of part 2. Dear students, in the first part, we saw origin of novel, meaning of novel, rise and development of novel, and major novelists and their works. If you have not watched that video, I am giving the link of it in the description box. Watch that video. Dear students, in the next video, we shall start the novel 4.2, that is To Serve with Love by E.R. Braithwaite.